Great day.
All right. Hello, 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 everyone. A very good evening to all of you. I hope you are all doing well. Guys, I would love to see your faces. So switch on your camera if possible. I I dropped a message also onto the group before we started asking you to be at a place where you can sit down, where you can switch on your camera because when I'm teaching, I like to see your faces. I like to see you nod along. I want to see if you understood what I'm talking about, right? When I have a blank screen, when I see a blank screen, it's very tough to see whether you have understood what I'm saying, whether you're lost. I don't know that if I can't see your face. So when I can see your face, it's fantastic. I see some kids here. Ruvini, I see your son. Very nice. Okay. All right. Anupami, how are you? Okay, guys, I'm just going to speak with a few of you just to get to know you and see what brings you here. Okay, Anupami, how's it going? Can you unmute yourself? Let's have a quick
I'm doing
conversation.
good. Thank
You're
you.
doing good?
I'm here.
Yeah.
All right, super. Can you give me a small introduction about yourself and tell me what brings you to this webinar?
Actually, I am the rank one lecturer at Cambridge College of British English. And, so, of opportunities that I will get when it comes to speaking. So, I would like to develop a little bit of it because I am a lot more nervous when I go in front of people. So, I thought I would
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Nice to have you here, Anupami. Definitely by the end of this webinar, you'll get something valuable to implement in your lessons. And of course, if you sign up to our program over the period of 4 months, I can easily guarantee that you'll be a lot more confident. You'll have no fear when you're speaking in front of an audience. So fantastic. Lovely to have you here. All right, super. Guys, I would love it if you could mute yourself unless you're here to have a conversation. So otherwise, it's okay. I still hear someone. Who's this? Okay. All right, let me have a conversation with someone else. Lasantha, can you introduce yourself? How's it going? How are you?
And I'm Lasantha. I'm from Kottava. Actually, I want to improve my speaking English skills. I'm working at the software industry. I have technically sound, but I am facing difficulties to communicate to each other and uh, public speaking, as you mentioned. I need to improve because I have lost some opportunities, uh, as mentioned earlier. Uh, Hence, I hope that I can improve uh, uh, in your uh, in your support and teaching.
Absolutely. I mean, I get a lot of students who face similar problems. I get a lot of people from the tech industry that are very technically sound. They know their software, they know what to do, they're very good at their work. But as they move up the corporate ladder, they find it tough to manage a team, speak to their team, motivate them, maybe speak to suppliers, vendors. That can be a challenge. Am I right, Lasantha?
Yes, 100% correct. Actually,
Fantastic. So that is exactly what we are trying to fix in this program. So I hope you get a lot of value from today's free session. And definitely, if you sign up to the program, there's going to be a lot that you can take away. Fantastic. Nice to have you here.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Let me speak with one more person before I move on. Mm, Pahasara? Is it Pahasara or Pahasara? How do I say your name?
Hello, I'm Pasara. I'm 21 years old from Sigiriya. Um, Already I'm work at cafe. Uh, my ambition is to be a cabin crew. Uh, yeah.
So you're working at a cafe, you're a barista?
Yes.
Ah,
Still
nice.
I'm a LL student. Uh,
Okay. That's fantastic. I'm a huge food lover. What's the cafe you work at?
Cafe Leaf Sigiriya.
Cafe Leaf Sigiri. Okay, I haven't been, but I travel to Sigiri quite a bit. So next time I come that way, I'll drop in. Hopefully, you can make me a very nice cup of coffee. All right. Nice to have you. So you're planning to get into cabin crew. That is why you want to improve your speaking skills, is it?
Yes.
Got it. Got it. Fantastic. All right, guys, lovely to have you all on board. I will be conversing with you as we move along. So make sure that you're ready to unmute yourself and have a conversation. And at the same time, I'll be asking you to drop certain things into the chat box. So make sure you're paying attention and you reply to the questions that I ask. So first of all, let me give you a quick introduction about myself, the Success Academy, and then let's move on to the content of the webinar today. All right. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you is that in the webinar today, we are going to look at the 5 main mistakes that are keeping you from being a confident speaker. Okay, this is the highlight of the webinar today. And honestly, if you can fix these 5 things, you can improve your ability as a speaker by tenfold, right? I don't want to tell you that. I will get you to give me an answer on whether, if you improve these 5 things, how important it will be to your career at the end of this webinar, right? So make sure you stick around till the end. Usually what happens is, as soon as we start, there's a lot of people, and then as time goes by, it's night, so people get hungry, people get sleepy, you have to put your kids to sleep, so a lot of problems. Make sure you have dedicated these 2 hours and you stay to the very end. That is when you will get the maximum out of the program today. All right. So that is the main point, or those are the 5 main points we are going to cover today. Outside of this, I'm also going to teach you how to structure the perfect speech. So even if you sign up to my 4-month program or not, from today's webinar, if you only go through today's webinar, you will learn how to give a speech at any occasion in the right structure, right? So all of you here, there's 200 odd people here. All of you will learn how to deliver the perfect speech in any occasion. All right. Fantastic, guys. A lot of you are here today because all of you made a New Year resolution. Right, Dinit, Devika, I see you smiling. Right, all of you here, Lasanta, Tahasara, all of you guys, you wrote down in your diary or you wrote down on your vision board, or at least if you're not a writer, you at least thought to yourself, in 2026, I'm going to become a great public speaker. I feel nervous when I see a crowd. I get scared when I see a crowd. I don't have the right vocabulary. I get stuck. But in 2026, I'm going to fix all of that. That's the New Year resolution that you came with here today. And guys, let me tell you, if you improve your ability to speak, and I have personally seen this in my own life, there are so many benefits you can get. Number one is you can easily level up your income, right? Even in a job, yes, your ability to do your job is very important. But if you have A and B, 2 people called A and B, and both of them are equally good at doing their job, but A is 10 times better at communicating, who is going to get the promotion? It's always A. It's never B. Because it's not just about doing your work, it's about being able to communicate what you have done. If you can sell something, if you can talk to a person and convince them to buy your product or service, what happens? You immediately level up your income. So one of the biggest benefits of learning how to speak well is being able to earn more money. The second one is obviously you get to build a better network. See, if you're shy, if you go into a crowd and you're scared to have a conversation with someone, you're scared to speak with someone, you're afraid to introduce yourself. If these are problems that you face, then you will not be able to build up new relationships. You will always be stuck with the same people you already know for the past 20 years, and you'll never be able to connect with someone new. And trust me, especially not just in Sri Lanka, in anywhere in the world, if you know the right people and if you can build up good relationships with people, Your ability to move up the corporate ladder, your ability to move up the business ladder, the entrepreneur ladder is so high. So your network is your net worth, right? So these two things are easily tied together. A lot of people struggle to face interviews. If you know how to speak well, guys, interviews are a walk in the park. Most of the people I know who are in very good positions in companies are great at facing interviews because they are not scared to speak about what they are capable of. You get to deliver speeches and presentations with confidence. When you stand up in front of the board of directors of your company and you have to do a presentation, if you're scared, if your mind goes blank, if your tongue goes dry, your board of directors are not going to take you seriously. When you're doing your university viva, right, guys, even when I was doing my viva at university, viva is the final presentation you do when you're submitting your research project, right? So many students were better than me when it came to doing the actual research. They were so academically sound. But the day of the viva, the day of doing the presentation, they're outside. Some of them, they go inside, they come back out and they cry. It's sad because they're so smart, they're so brainy. But when you put them in front of this panel of lecturers, they forget everything they wanted to say. Do you understand what I mean? But if you're confident, if you know what to say, you can easily go and talk to people and convince them that your research project is the best one in your batch. Does that make sense? If you're running a business, if you're doing sales, if you want to be a corporate leader, because a good leader is always a good communicator, whether that be in front of a crowd or whether that be interpersonal communication, a good leader is always a good speaker. Do you understand what I mean? And if you want to pursue this ability to be a confident speaker. And if you're someone that wants to be a teacher, if you're someone that wants to get qualified in public speaking, we also offer a diploma qualification for those of you who are interested. All right. But outside of the diploma, guys, look at the benefits that you will get by learning how to speak well. All right. Before I go here, before I introduce myself, I told you all that you're here because you made a New Year resolution, right? Because you wanted to learn how to speak well. I want to know why you want to become a good public speaker, right? So Anupami told me she's a English lecturer. So she wants to improve her ability to speak better in front of a crowd. Lasanta told me that he's a software engineer. So he wants to be able to manage his team. He wants to be able to converse in the corporate world, right? Similarly, I want everyone to tell me why you want to become a better speaker. Can you put your answer into the chat box? Tell me why you want to become a good speaker. Is it to get promotions in your company? Is it to face interviews better? Is it to just have a conversation with someone without being afraid? Is it to be able to deliver presentations? Is it to be able to go abroad? I don't know what it is. I want you to tell me why you want to become a better speaker. Okay, someone says that's what the world is now. Okay, move up the corporate ladder. All right, guys, I need to see more answers to come out of my comfort zone and be able to face people without fear. I want to deliver my thoughts to others. Someone says, because I want to be like you. Fantastic. Don't be like me. Be the best version of yourself. That's the best thing you can do. To influence others through leadership, to deliver my presentations in conferences. Someone's a travel agent. Fantastic. To improve my confidence. Someone says, no exercise. To improve my professional values and opportunities. Someone says, I really love it. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. To motivate my staff. Okay, great, great, great. I'm seeing a lot of fantastic answers. Guys, do you know what happens to New Year resolutions? Do you know what happens to New Year resolutions? 90% of people across the world always have the New Year resolution. I am going to get fit this year. I'm going to go to the gym. So what do? On the 1st of January, they go and purchase a brand new gym membership, right? What happens by the 15th of January? You're tired. Your body starts to hurt, right? You don't have the motivation that you had on the 31st, right? When you were writing down in your diary, I am going to get my perfect dream body. By the 15th, you're like, okay, you know what? My body looks good. I don't want to lift all this heavy weight. I don't want to run all the time. I want to eat that cheeseburger. By the 30th of January, 99% of people have forgotten their New Year's resolution. It's the same with public speaking. You have made a resolution that somehow in 2026, you are going to become a great speaker for the reason that you have put in the chat box. But the reality is, most of you, unfortunately, will find it very tough to stick to that resolution. That's very demotivating, isn't it? I want you to tell me, guys, I want you to really, really tell me, and I want you to put a yes in the chat box. I want you to tell me that you are going to stick to your New Year's resolution in 2026. 2026 is a new start for you. What you could not achieve in 2025, I want you to achieve in 2026. So I want you to promise me that you are not going to let this New Year's resolution fizzle off. I want you to say yes if you're going to stick to it, if you're going to promise yourself that you're going to be the best public speaker than you can be. I want you to say yes. Fantastic. I love it. I love it. So many people are saying yes, yes. Someone says infinity yes. Absolutely fantastic. I love this. Guys, I genuinely hope you stick to your promise because this is a promise you're making to yourself, not just to me, right? This is a promise you're making to yourself. If you give up on this promise, the person you're letting down is yourself. So I want you to follow through and stick to this promise that you have made. All right. With that being said, let me introduce myself. I am Sheshan Dias. Guys, you can call me sir, you can call me Sheshan, whatever you are comfortable with. Now, when I started off, I wasn't born a confident speaker, right? Nobody is born a confident speaker. So the first time that I gave a speech, I remember I used to get tongue tied, I used to get nervous. One of the most embarrassing moments in my life is when this was at church. I was in church once. And I don't know how many of you are Catholics. We have this thing called prayers of the faithful, right? So I had to get on the altar and so we have to sing it, sort of. It's not really a song, but you have to say these prayers of the faithful in a bit of a sing-song voice. Now, I am not the best singer. I find it very tough to pitch the right note. Right? So I would have been about 9 or 10 years old. I got on the altar and I started to read out the prayers of the faithful. The whole congregation, that means the whole audience, was extremely quiet. The father also looked at me, the priest looked at me in a weird way, and the pianist who was playing the piano stopped playing because I went completely off key, right? I realized I was messing up so bad. Then the worst part is that now I'm reading this, but because I know I'm making mistakes, I froze. I didn't know what to say. I started to cry and I ran off the altar. That's a terrible, embarrassing situation to be in. I don't know how many of you have been in a situation like that. It's not the best. It's, you don't want to face people again because you think that this is, people are going to laugh at me. People are going to say things about me. I was so disappointed. I was sad that I had let my parents down. Thank God for me, my parents didn't, scold me or make fun of me or say anything bad. They just said, hey, don't worry about it. Let's just do it again. Right? Thank God. Because if I didn't get that encouragement, I would never have done it again because I was so embarrassed. Right? But from that point onwards, and thanks to my parents' encouragement, I started to take on more and more opportunities to speak, whether it was at church, doing the readings, whether it was at school, if I had to compare certain events at school or do the prayers at school, whatever it was, I started to take on more and more and more opportunities to speak in front of an audience. Initially, I was very nervous. I used to get scared. I used to make a lot of mistakes. But over a period of time, I started to get confident little by little. But at that time, I never ever thought that I would build a career around speaking. That was never something that was in my mind. But then my mother happened to make the best decision of her life and also my life, which is she dragged me by the ear and she entered me for theater at St. Peter's College. Now, I was a sportsman, right? I used to love playing sports and I was not a huge fan of acting theater. I thought, it's not for sportsmen. It's a bit weird. But my mother said my mother was a huge fan of literature. She was a huge fan of reading books and theater and acting and all of that. So she said, no, you have to go and do theater at school. And this turned out to be one of the best decisions I have ever taken because I started acting in the inter-school Shakespeare drama competition. I started to take part in different public productions, and theater became a big part of my life. And guys, thanks to theater, I'm not afraid to speak in front of an audience at all. Because imagine after getting into costumes like this and acting and singing and dancing and doing the weirdest things possible, getting up on stage and delivering a speech is a walk in the park. It's not that hard, right? So, theater is a big part of my life even today. I mean, this is a production we did last year, and it's something that helps me relieve my stress from running number of businesses, working in the corporate. I'm working all 6 days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I keep Sundays off just to go and take part in different theater practices. I do speech and drama training. It's just fun, right? And being a part of the theater community and doing speech and drama has really helped me hone my skill as a speaker. Because when you're performing to 600, 700 people and you're doing all of these different things, giving a speech, it becomes quite simple. And even in my program, even in my coaching program, I have integrated certain elements of theater into our speaking lessons. So these are things that you would never get anywhere else. It's using this experience I have in theater that I have built out this public speaking program as well. It's unique. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. So I got my first start when I entered the corporate sector to be a public speaker when I started working at Gold FM. I was a news presenter there for 5 years, and that's how I got started as a public speaker. So while I was working at Gold FM, I'm sure, I mean, if I don't know if the young people have heard of Gold FM, you all probably have heard of Sun FM or Kiss FM. Lasanta, have you heard of Gold FM? Old is gold, as they say. Right? Lasanta, yes, no? Have you heard of Gold FM?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. Right. I know some of the young ones who are maybe 19, 20 Penuja. I'm sure you haven't heard of it.
Yes, sir. I haven't heard of it.
You haven't heard of it. Okay. Sun FM, Kiss FM is more along the lines of probably what you have heard. Sometimes kids don't even listen to radio. But anyway, I got my start as a public speaker when I was a news presenter at Gold FM. And through that, I got a lot of opportunities to be an event host. I was an MC, I was a master of events, and I got the chance to compare a lot of events over the years. And over a period of time, I started making this my full time profession, right? I started doing events, I started doing trainings, I started doing presenting, I started doing so many things that were public speaking related. And I built up my experience as a public speaker. And then I also got into the corporate sector. I started doing corporate training. I started doing workshops. I started training university students. I started doing a lot of training programs. I was also a presenter. I have my YouTube channel of my own. I present for other channels. I built a good repertoire. I built a good resume or a CV around public speaking, right? So not only am I a trainer now, I have years of experience to back up my resume as a public speaker, right? So guys, today I work in the corporate sector. I also work as a public speaker. I run my own business, which is the Success Academy. I'm the head of operations of a cybersecurity company called Better Cyber Career. And the reason I still continue to work in the corporate sector, number one, is because it gives me a good insight into what working professionals need when it comes to communication. I interview a lot of people on a weekly basis. And one of the biggest drawbacks that I see is that when people come for an interview, they just don't know how to speak. They get scared, they get tongue tied, they don't have the right mindset and the right vocabulary to communicate who they are in an interview. When I see sales presentations, when I see people presenting, when I see people speaking at corporate events, sometimes I see people, they bring a book or they bring a paper and they're just reading off that piece of paper on a podium, right? Some people use so many fillers when they have to do a presentation. They scratch their head, they don't know what to say. There are so many different problems people face when it comes to speaking in front of a crowd. And I got this insight, and I'm able to keep getting this insight because I work in a company, right? So aside from running my own business, aside from being a trainer, I'm also the head of operations at a company called Better Cyber Career. I've also got my qualifications, guys. I've got my licentiate in public speaking from the University of West London. I've got my associate in public speaking from Trinity College, London. And I've also completed my TEFL, that's teaching English as a foreign language qualification as well. All right. So I have the qualifications, I have the experience to back up what I'm saying. This is not just a random person teaching you how to speak in front of a crowd. No, I'm someone who has got the right qualifications, got the right knowledge, and also put that knowledge. Now, sometimes you can get all the knowledge in the world. You can do your master's, you can do your PhD, but if you have never applied that knowledge, there's no point, right? So I've got the experience, I've got the education to back up what I'm going to say. So don't worry, you're in safe hands. What you're going to learn on this webinar is a lot of things that I myself have personally experienced, and I'm teaching you from the practical experience that I have gained myself. So what you're going to get in my 4-month coaching program, provided you decide to join, is a clear step-by-step guide to go from being a nervous speaker to a confident speaker. So most of you here are here because you feel scared, you feel nervous, you feel like public speaking is not your strongest strength. But I'm here to change that. And trust me, I can guarantee that in 4 months, you'll be more confident. I'll show you some testimonials to back this up. You will feel more confident about yourself than you have ever felt in your entire lives. You'll also be a part of our community. You'll get direct coaching from me for all the videos, the practice videos, the live speeches that you deliver, right? I will personally give you feedback on every practice material that you send across to me. Furthermore, I have my own podcast, I have my own YouTube channel. So you get special opportunities to get featured on our channel. We do a podcast where we get students from our classes to come and have a conversation. We'll share some of those podcasts on the group with you. Furthermore, if you decide to do a diploma, right? Some people, they want to do the diploma. Some people, they don't want to do the diploma. If you decide to do the diploma, you get a recognized qualification from a foreign ministry approved awarding body. All right. Some of you are just here because you want to learn public speaking because you enjoy it or you want it for your career. Some of you are here because you want to pursue this as a profession. So for you, the recognized qualification will be a big plus point. But for everyone else, everything that I pointed out is going to be the benefits that you're going to get. All right. Guys, if you stay till the end of this webinar, I have something very special for you. I have a book on public speaking mastery. Usually we sell this for 1,200 rupees, but we'll be sharing this on the group with all of you, provided that you stay till the end of the webinar today. All right. So now who is this for, right? I want you to put in the chat box. What is the biggest fear you have when it comes to speaking in front of a crowd? So we'll see if that aligns with what I have put here. What is the biggest fear you have when it comes to speaking in front of a crowd? Okay, someone says vocabulary, stage fear, shy, less vocabulary, flow. Someone says, I forget why I am there. Okay, I go blank, stuttering, freezing among a crowd, tongue-tied. Okay, my biggest fear is people. Guys, as you can see, if you look at the screen, this is for all of you. This is for people that feel nervous, that feel anxious, that feel tongue-tied when speaking in front of a crowd. If you're afraid of people, if you're afraid of communicating in meetings in front of a group of people, then this is for you. For students, for young adults who are planning to do university presentations, school presentations, speeches, debates, public exams, this is for you. This is also for leaders, corporate leaders, managers, directors, CEOs that want to learn how to communicate effectively in front of an audience. It's especially for salespeople, anyone that's in the sales profession, insurance, healthcare, whatever it is. If you want to improve your ability to speak confidently, this is for you. And also, it's for anyone that genuinely believes that they will get more opportunities if they improve their communication skills. If that is you, then this webinar is for you. So are you ready? I am going to tell you exactly what public speaking is, what is the right structure when delivering a speech, and the 5 major mistakes that you make in public speaking. So I want you to say yes if you're ready to proceed to the next slide. All right. Great, great, great. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Fantastic, fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love the energy, guys. I love the fact that you guys are communicating, that you guys are sending me messages. I love it. I love the energy. I love the enthusiasm. I'm seeing so many faces. I love seeing people's faces simply because I know people are interested in what I'm saying. Yamuna, nice to see you here. Jatushat, nice to see you. Humam, fantastic. Guys, I like to see you smile. All right, that shows me you're interested. Ahmad Niaz, nice to see you. Hishan, fantastic. Tanuri, great to see you. All right, great, great, great. I'm seeing so many new faces. This is amazing. All right, guys. So the first thing that you have to know is what public speaking is. Very simple. Public speaking is delivering your message, delivering a speech to a live audience in a structured way to achieve an objective, to inform, entertain, persuade, or demonstrate an idea to them. Think about any public speaking situation, right? You might have to deliver your university viva. What are you doing? You're delivering a speech. You're delivering your message to a group of people to inform them what you have learned in the past 4 years. Am I right? That's what you're doing. When you're motivating your team, let's say you are a sales manager and you're trying to motivate your team to make more sales. What are you doing? You're trying to tell your message to your sales team, which is an audience, to persuade them to make more sales in the upcoming year. Do you understand what I mean? This is what public speaking is. It's not just randomly speaking to a crowd. Look at what I am doing today. I am delivering a message to you about what public speaking is. And I'm doing it. Am I doing to entertain you? No. Although I might crack some failed jokes every now and then, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to inform you, is to educate you on what public speaking is. Do you understand what I mean? So whenever you are delivering a speech, whenever you have to speak to an audience, make sure you know what your message is and what your objective is. Is it to inform people? Is it to entertain people? Is it to persuade them? Or is it to demonstrate something to them? Right? The most important thing, the biggest purpose of delivering a speech or doing any form of public speaking is that the people you are trying to speak to or the people you are trying to convince should understand your message and take positive action regarding that message. I remember when I was going to school, sometimes our teachers, not sometimes, all the time, our teachers would encourage us to study. Right? I'm sure all of you have been to school. I'm sure all of you are familiar with teachers telling you to study. Some of you actually are teachers, people who are here. So you know what you tell Anupami. You always tell your students to study, right? Now I remember even when I was going to school, my teachers used to say, Puta, you have to study, you have to study, you have to study. So what are they doing? They're speaking to 40 students, which is a crowd. They're delivering a message saying study. But what do the children do? Do we study? No, we do everything else under the sun. I used to cut classes. I used to jump out of school. I used to go to the grounds and play football. Anything but study. So is that the audience taking positive action regarding the message? No. But I had one teacher. She never told us to study. She told us very nice stories. She was a history teacher. Right? And she used to tell us some amazing stories about history. And she used to say, this is the story that I have to say. And she would tell us a story maybe about Sri Vikramarajasinghe or Dutugamunu or whoever. And then halfway through the story, she would stop. And she'd say, okay, if you want to know more, you can go and research about it yourselves. Now, what happens to us? We want to find out what happens in the story. We want to find out how Dutugamunu defeated Elara. We want to find out what happened to Dutugamunu at the end of that story. So what do? We go home, we research, we go to YouTube, and we start to study. If your audience takes some sort of positive action with regards to the message you are trying to put across, that means you have succeeded as a speaker. At the end of your sales meeting, if your sales team is not working hard to improve the overall revenue of the company, that means your motivation has not worked. When you're delivering a speech, a keynote presentation about conserving water, maybe, and you speak about how everyone can play their part by closing all the taps at home and making a conscious effort to conserve water. If people go home and they don't even remember what you said, is there a point? No. So it's important that you learn how to speak so that people remember your message and take some sort of action regarding your message. Makes sense? So if you can persuade people to take action, that means you are a successful speaker. Clear. All right. So, guys, there are three components that make up a fantastic speaker: ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos, pathos, and logos. Right? Very important. Now, I will explain to you what each of these three means. But before that, I would like someone to unmute themselves. And you see what I've written down. You can just give me a basic understanding of what each one means with a small example. So, Bhanuka, can you unmute yourself? How are you?
Hi, how is it? How are you?
Fantastic.
I'm good.
Bhanuka, the first pillar of public speaking is ethos, right? Ethos means
Okay.
your credibility and your character. Okay. Why do you think credibility is important as a speaker? Can you give an example?
So that makes this audience to, you know, believe in what we are communicate to them.
Correct. So that, okay, I'll give you an example, right? Think of it like this. Okay, let's look at ethos. Now, when I started off the webinar today, right? When I started off the webinar today, what did I do? I started off by giving you an introduction about myself. I spoke about my qualifications. I spoke about my experience. Why did I do that? Bhanuka?
Because like that makes that we are listening to the right person, so we are getting guidance with the right person who has the right qualification to deliver it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if I did not tell you who I am, if I didn't tell you that I'm a compeer, that I've worked at Gold FM, that I have done public speaking as a profession, that I have my own business, I run my own sales team, I have the right qualifications. If I didn't point those things out to you, you're learning public speaking from a weird random guy that you saw on Facebook, right? But now the context has changed. I have shown that I have the right credentials, that I have the credibility to talk about this subject. Imagine something like this, right? You're going to a finance conference. Okay, the conference is on how to invest your money wisely. One of the speakers is Dhammika Pereira, right? One of the other speakers is, let's say, me. Whose session would you go to? Bhanuka?
Yes, probably the Dhammika Pereira.
Not probably Dhammika Pereira, definitely Dhammika Pereira. Because if you come to my one, you have already made one bad financial decision. Right? I'll give you terrible advice on how to invest your money. Credibility. Why do we go to Dhammika Pereira? Because he's the richest man or one of the richest men in the country. He automatically has credibility to speak on that topic. We respect him, right? We know, okay, if Dhammika Pereira says this is how you have to invest your money, that is probably the best way to invest your money. Does that make sense? So usually, if you are delivering a public address, if you're delivering a public speech about a specific topic, always try to make sure that you have credibility to speak on that topic. For example, let's say you are the tech manager of your team, right? You're a software engineer, you're leading a tech team. You might feel nervous, you might feel scared to speak in front of a crowd. But the number one thing you should remind yourself of is I have already done everything that I'm telling my team to do. I started off as an intern. I then moved up the corporate ladder to become a manager. So I already have done everything I'm telling my team to do. Does the team know that? Yes, because obviously you're their manager. Immediately, you have credibility. Lasanta, am I correct? When you are going to speak to your team, you have credibility, right?
Yes, correct.
I'm correct. That should immediately give you a sense of confidence that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Now, think of this context, okay? As a public speaker, I have credibility. But as a financial investor, I have zero credibility. So probably I should avoid speaking about topics that I don't have credibility on. Does that mean I can't speak about that topic well? No. It just means that people will not take me seriously. And because of my lack of knowledge in that field, I might not even be able to do a good presentation. Does that make sense? So, whenever you are delivering a speech, whenever you are speaking to your team, whenever you're speaking in front of a crowd, always ask yourself, do I have the right credibility? If you do, you have nothing to worry about. Is that clear? That's the first. See, one of the biggest reasons people are scared to speak in front of a crowd is that they are nervous. They feel like people will judge them. They feel like people will laugh at them. This is one of the biggest issues people have. But the reality is, if you have credibility, you have nothing to worry about. Right? So, to build up further credibility for myself, so to give you a bigger example, let me play
Hi,
this.
I'm Nihal Muhandira,
testimonial
the
for you.
Vice President, Eco Hotels and Resorts. I need to tell this specifically. I joined Success Academy about 2 months ago. Actually, this was recommended by my wife. I'm a person who does a lot of public speaking. In the sense, I used to talk to my team. But I always realized that there are lot that I need to learn and correct. So that's why I joined this Success Academy. So during these 2.5 months, I learned, I must say, hell of a lot of things. So still I'm practicing and I'm doing that. And if I have to recommend to anyone, not any other thing, it is the Success Academy, and join with Sheshan Dias, and he's the best trainer for you to look for. Thank you very much.
All right. So what does that do? This is the Vice President of Operations of Eco Hotels and Resorts. Right? Mr. Nihal Muhandira. When he first started, he wasn't the greatest, most confident speaker. But over the period of 2 to 3 months, he says 2.5 months, he was able to build up to have a podcast with me. We had a podcast together, and he was able to give a testimonial. He even delivered a live testimonial once in front of a live audience of about 300 people as well. Right? So what does that do? It gives credibility to what I'm saying. So I'm not just another random person speaking about this topic. I'm someone who has actually helped other people, helped my students become better, more confident speakers. So credibility as a speaker is very important. It's one of the most important pillars, sorry, of being a public speaker. Right? The next is pathos. What is pathos? Right. Let me tell you something like this. What do people love listening to the most? Joanne, what do people love listening to the most? Do they like listening to facts, statistics, or do they like listening to stories? Joanne?
Yes, stories.
Absolutely. Who are the best storytellers in the world? Who are the best storytellers in the world? Ibrahim,
The
can you give me an
politicians.
answer? Yes, Joanne, do you have an answer?
Well, I think it's a person who can win over the audience.
A person who can win over the audience, but there's a specific group of people that are fantastic storytellers. Ibrahim, can you guess? Vishani, can you guess the best storytellers in the world? Someone says poetry people, someone says moms. Moms is a good answer. Ah, yes, someone has sent the right answer.
Politician.
Sorry?
Politicians.
Yes, absolutely. No one tells better stories than politicians. right? Because when they are losing an election, when they are winning an election, when they are ruining a country, when they're doing all of that, they will tell the most amazing stories that will guarantee their re-election next time around. Right? Guys, historically, storytelling has been the most powerful technique in public speaking. I just told you a story about my history teacher. And what did I tell you? I said she told us stories. The moment you start listening to stories, people are interested. That's why we love watching movies, isn't it? That's why we love listening to songs that has a nice meaning. That's why we love reading poetry, reading books. That's why someone had put moms are great storytellers. Why? Because from the time a child is small, a mother is constantly telling their children stories to build up their creativity. When someone starts a speech or when someone is delivering a speech, we always get hooked when they start using a story. When I'm at church, when I go for Sunday Mass, I love it when the priest starts using stories from the Bible or starts using stories from his personal life to elaborate on the teachings of that sermon. When he's just giving us advice, when he's just telling us, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, nobody wants to listen. Am I right? Think about it like this, right? When I was going to school, there were so many school assemblies, right? All of you have been to school, you have all been a part of school assemblies. And the principal of the school, the chief guest of the ceremony, the chief guest of that assembly, that event, always delivers a speech. Think back and see how many of those speeches you all actually remember. Why? Because every speech, do this, do this, do this. Principal, of course, that's all he says. You have to be disciplined, you have to learn well, you have to study hard. That's all he says. I don't even remember what he said, but I know that's what he would have said. I don't remember what he said because most of the time I used to pretend to fall sick during the assembly, go to the sick room and sleep. Right? But honestly, how many of you really remember a speech that has been given without stories? If a beautiful story, an engaging story was used in the speech, then you're more likely to remember that speech. Storytelling is by far the most important skill, the most important tool that you can use in your speech. So when we go to speech structure, you will understand where to use stories. All right. So pathos is the bond that you create with an audience using storytelling. Clear? The final one is logos. Now, as important as stories are, you also have to use certain facts, statistics, data, sources to back up what you are talking about, right? So as much as your credibility is important, as much as storytelling is important as a public speaking tool, facts, statistics, and data is also very important. So logos is your ability to structure a speech well using statistical data to back up your points. So whenever you are delivering a speech, remember these three things. You need to have credibility on the topic you're going to talk about. You need to emotionally connect with your audience using stories, and you need to have facts, figures, and statistics to back up the points you are talking about. Make sense? All right, great. So remember, learning how to speak well, it enhances your personality, helps you communicate your ideas clearly, and helps you stand out as a good leader. So if you can build up these three skills, the ability to tell stories, to build up the experience and education so that you have credibility to speak about the topic you're going to speak about, and also to back up what you're saying with the right statistics and data, you're definitely going to be a confident speaker. All right. With that being said, let me start off to teach you about how to deliver any speech anywhere at any time in the right structure. Right? Okay. The structure of a speech is very simple. All of you know it. So I'll get one of you to tell me what the structure is. What's the first thing you do when you're going to deliver a speech? Tanuri, what's the first thing you would do when trying to deliver a speech?
Maybe give an introduction and also maybe an inspiring quote by
Very nice. I love it. You could start by saying a nice quote, an inspiring quote. You give an introduction. Very good. What happens to greeting the audience? Does that come first or does it come after the quote? How does it work? Tanuri?
I have tried both the ways, like first give the introduction, like the quoting, and then start with the introduction.
Very nice. I like that a lot. I love it. Anyone else? Yamuna, what do you think? Greeting first, introduction. What do you think?
About me, I like to.
Like to start with the introduction. Very good. Fantastic. I love it. I feel like some of you have been to one of my sessions before. Very good. Very good. Very good. I love this. Okay. Let me ask someone else. Vishwani, what do you think? Greeting first, introduction first. What do you think?
So I guess the greeting, more than greeting first, giving a quote is better because we can get the attention of the audience.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I love it. Absolutely. If you can deliver a good introduction at the very start, that's going to make you stand out from 99% of people. Because most people, now again, if I go back to my example of school principals and chief guests delivering speeches, now I remember every school assembly that I have been to for 13 years of my school life, we've had three different principals. Everyone has started their speech in the same way. How? A very good morning, Reverend Fathers, Reverend Sisters, members of the tutorial staff, members of the non-tutorial staff, and my dear boys. Every single speech for 13 years. By the time he finishes saying that, students have either gone to sleep or they're talking amongst themselves, they're playing some sort of game. One of the games we used to play is we used to take bets on how long the rector's speech is going to be. And we used to have this stopwatch. We used to time it. So we used to take bets. Okay, someone will say, okay, today he's going to speak for 20 minutes. Someone will say 30 minutes. Someone will say 40 minutes. Whoever gets it right, the others have to buy him food from the canteen. Right? It was an interesting game. So, guys, you rarely pay attention to a speech if it starts off in the traditional way. Now, of course, there are a lot of other factors that come into play as well. For example, the speaker's tonality, the energy that they bring. This could also make a big difference. But generally, the moment you start off by saying, good morning, everyone, today I'm here to talk about, you lose the audience. One of the best speeches that I have heard is when I was comparing an event. It was this automotor event, right? And there were a lot of different business owners, car dealership owners, garage owners, and so on. The Italian ambassador was there, a couple of the ministers were there, and I was comparing this event. And there was this one gentleman called Rohan Palletanna. I don't know if you have heard of him. So he's the one that owns the patent for the sensor for the airbag in vehicles. Right? He only has invented the sensor for airbags in vehicles, the Sri Lankan guy. He's a big shot, big, wealthy businessman. I think he tried running for politics also at some point, right? He got on stage, very serious event, with a guitar. Right? Now he has to deliver a speech. He's the chief guest of the event. He has to deliver a speech. He started by singing a song. The entire audience, people that were on their phones, people that were having a drink, people that were talking to each other, everybody stopped, sat down, and started watching. Because nobody expected him to get up on stage and start singing. After he finished his song, he said, "Now do I have everyone's attention?" And then he started his greeting and went on to the speech. Everybody listened to every word he had to say right up until the very end. Right? Now, the takeaway is not that when you're delivering a speech, you have to take your guitar and sing a song. Because quite frankly, when some of you sing, people might have to get up and leave. Myself included, I can't sing to save my life. Right? So the point is, you have to do something different. You have to do something unique to get the attention of the audience. And I'll show you what you can do. The quote was a very nice point. So well done to the people that said that. So you have your introduction, you have your greeting, you go into the body, and finally you have your conclusion. So what do you include in your introduction to make it interesting? Very nice. It was, I think, if I remember correctly, it was Tanuri, who said you have to start off with an inspiring quote. Very good, Tanuri. Right? You can this is the safest way to get the attention of the audience because you're not expecting a reaction from the audience. When you expect a reaction from the audience, it can be a bit risky. But when you deliver a quote, you're not expecting a reaction. When you deliver a quote, you immediately stand out because all the other speakers in the event started off by saying good morning and they started by greeting the audience, right? President, vice president, they'll greet the audience that is there. So the moment you start with a quote, you stand out from the audience. Bhanuka, is that clear? You start off with a quote to get the attention of people.
Yes.
Very low risk. Very low risk. The next one is a story. This is also some TED speakers. I'm sure you have heard of TED Talks. There are certain speakers who deliver TED Talks that immediately start off with a story. Very nice way of starting because you immediately get the attention of people. I told you, storytelling is the best tool that you can use when delivering a speech. So if you start off by telling a story, a very short, quick story, now you have the attention of people. Make sure that your introductory story is not very long because if you get late to go to the greeting, that can also be a problem. So your story has to be short enough so that you can quickly go to the greeting. Clear? This is a high risk, high reward technique. Jokes. Clear? When you crack jokes, it can be hit or miss, right? Sometimes even in my classes. Now, because I'm a teacher, it doesn't make a big deal because my primary duty is to educate. So even if my jokes are not that funny, it doesn't affect me as much, right? But when you're in front of a group of maybe 600, 700 people and you're trying to deliver a speech and you crack a joke and nobody laughs, Nilanti, what do you feel? If you crack a joke and nobody laughs, you feel stressed out, right? You feel scared. Yes, Hishan, what do you feel?
You feel left out.
You feel left out. You feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I doing everything wrong? What's going to happen? And your brain just starts to malfunction. Right? I've seen this a lot now. When I act in comedies, right? Thank God this has never happened. Usually when we crack jokes, people laugh. But I have been in an audience where when a different play was taking place, they were cracking jokes and some of the jokes weren't hitting. And the audience was not laughing. And you could see how uncomfortable the actors on stage were. It's not a great situation to be in. So jokes are very high risk. When you're starting a speech, if you can crack a joke and get people to laugh, trust me, they will stay hooked to everything you have to say, because immediately you come off as a confident speaker. Generally, people that are funny are usually the norm is that people that are usually funny are very smart. That's how it is. Because you need to be smart to crack a joke well, right? You need to be smart to crack a joke well. So the audience, if you can get an audience to laugh at the start of your speech, it's the best emotion you can give an audience. And they are going to be hooked to everything you have to say. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that if you crack a joke and people don't laugh, Panuka, that's the end of your speech. Makes sense? All right. So low risk, but medium reward with quotes. This is a medium risk, medium reward. High risk, high reward with jokes, right? And finally, you have rhetorical questions. This is probably the best, safest and best way to engage an audience. Ask them questions. Clear? So rhetorical questions are questions where you do not expect an answer from the audience. You can get the audience to think about something. You could get the audience to contemplate a certain problem. You could ask questions like that. Imagine what your life would be like if you won $1 million. Does that require you to do anything? No, it just requires you to think. But you will start thinking, so you'll get interested in what I have to say next. What I'm doing in my class is I'm asking direct questions. I'm speaking to people. I'm getting you to answer. So now you don't know who is going to be caught next, right? The moment I see someone doing this or maybe like this, that's when I'm going to ask you a question or say your name. Do you understand what I mean? Because I know, okay, now this fellow is falling asleep. It's 8 o'clock at night, right? It's 8:40, right? It's someone's bedtime. Okay. So the moment you go this, I will ask you a question. I'll at least say your name so that you get back into my webinar. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to do that even with a live audience. You see people, they're sitting there in front of you falling asleep. That's normal, guys. Even when I do my physical classes, there are days, some people come after a long day of work, they're tired, they're stressed. And so they come and in their office attire, they're dozing off. But the moment I say, hey, Kamal, they go like that. And then they start nodding. Do you understand what I mean? You ask them a question, you get them engaged. This is one of the best ways to engage and keep an audience active and listen to what you are saying. Clear? So these are some of the ways in which you can start a speech. Then we move on to your body. Guys, when it comes to your body, you have to do two things, right? You have to use the two pillars of public speaking. That is pathos and logos. Credibility is something you have. So ethos is something you have. But pathos and logos are two things that you can do. Okay. So number one and number two is pathos. What does that mean? You create an emotional bond with your audience by telling, Pahasara, what are we telling? What do we tell an audience in our speech? We tell stories. Stories. Do you understand? So even in my lesson, you would notice that I'm constantly telling you stories. Stories about my school life, stories about my speaking experience, my theater experience. By telling these stories is how I'm keeping the audience engaged. So when you're delivering a speech and when you're writing out your speech, always include your personal stories because nobody has your story. Your story, Panuka's story is different from Joanne's story. Joanne's story is different from Ibrahim's story. Ibrahim, your story is not the same as Devika's story. It's not the same as Hishan's story. Everybody has their own unique life experiences. Always use your unique life experiences in your speech. By doing that is how you can build a connection with your audience. Because people love listening to stories. Clear? The next thing is logos. You have facts and figures and additional details to back it up. So as much as storytelling is important, especially when you're delivering a speech on a corporate level, you're delivering a keynote presentation, you have to add in your sources, facts, statistics, figures to back up what you are saying. If you're comparing an event, this is not important, right? If you are delivering a vote of thanks, if you're delivering a welcome address, if you're delivering a farewell speech, then logos is not important, because to a vote of thanks, you're not going to add facts and figures. To a welcome address, you're not going to add any statistics, right? But still, storytelling is always important. So I want you to take one thing into your mind today, one very important thing. If anyone ever in the future asks you to deliver a speech, I always want you to include a story into that speech. If you don't have a story in your speech, whether it be about yourself or whether it be about someone else, we use one word to describe that speech. What is the word we use? Dayaratna, what is the word you will use to describe a speech that doesn't have a story? It starts with B, ends with G.
Non-experiences.
Exactly, boring. Do you understand? A speech without a story is boring. Clear? So it doesn't matter who you're delivering this speech to, always include a story to make it interesting. Clear? Finally, you wrap up your speech by summarizing the points in your body. Whatever you said before, always summarize it at the end, because people rarely remember what you say anyway. If you've told them an interesting story, fantastic, they might remember that. But always summarize the points in your body. Give your final thoughts and opinions and end with something powerful. That is the structure to delivering a great speech. You give an introduction first. You can have a quote, a joke, an anecdote, or even ask a question. You then greet the audience. Then you have the body of your speech where you tell stories and support it with the right facts. And finally, you end or conclude your speech by summarizing your points and giving your final thoughts and opinions. Clear? All right. So wherever you decide to deliver a speech, I want you to use this structure. Guys, I want you to answer this question in the chat box. If you could speak with confidence, without any fear at all in front of people, how would that change your lives? What new opportunities would you get? I want you to visualize that. I want you to think about it. If I can speak well, what are the opportunities that are going to come my way? What are the new things I will get in 2026 if I can speak confidently? Can you drop a message onto the chat box telling me what you will get if you learn how to speak well, speak confidently? Fantastic. Career opportunities, building good relationships, the attention of others. I can get a first class with a good GPA. Fantastic. Guys, anything else? I will see myself as a great presenter. I will become a motivational speaker. I love that. IELTS. Someone is here for IELTS. Fantastic. Famous with others. Brilliant, brilliant. Love it, love it, love it. I want to be in the cabin crew. Good public speaker. Great, fantastic. Love it.
Hi, I'm Nishani Vimalasuriya. I'm a teacher of English. I have had many years of experience as a teacher, but I have always had this scare for stage fright. So I decided to join the Success Academy to do public speaking. And what do you know? Here I am, standing here in front of you, speaking. I never thought this is like a dream come true for me. I have developed my confidence, but you need to remember, you need to practice. That's the main thing that Sheshan keeps on saying. And I think, and you should practice. So, if you feel you have been under a rock, come join. You see a difference and make a difference in your life. Thank you.
All right. So Nishani, when Nishani first joined, I didn't know why she joined, because she spoke very fluent English, because she was an English teacher for 27 plus years. So I asked her, why did you join a public speaking program? And she said it's because although she can teach students, she found it very tough to speak in front of a large gathering, to deliver a speech. And the main thing she was practicing for was to deliver the toast at her daughter's wedding. And she has successfully done that after completing our program. So that was a big achievement for me, and also a fantastic achievement for her as well, right? Okay, so next we are going to move on to the 5 major mistakes that are keeping you from being a confident speaker. I want you to say yes if you are making these mistakes, or if you have these specific drawbacks in yourself. Number 1 is worrying about other people's opinions. How many of you have this? I want you to say yes. Guys, a lot of people are so scared about what other people have to say about them. This is the biggest fear. This is the biggest mistake that holds people back from doing what they want to do. Forget speaking. Anything else in life, whether you want to start a business, whether you want to start a new sport, whether you want to start a new activity, whatever you want to do in life, the biggest thing that stops people from achieving their dreams, from doing the things they love to do, is that they are scared of other people's opinions. Guys, the only thing that you can do to overcome this fear of other people's opinions is, number 1, to realize that in the grand scheme of things, other people don't matter at all. Now, that's a fancy way of saying nobody in the world really cares about you. Does that make sense? Nobody in the world really cares about you. Think about it even in this context. Your own mother sometimes does not know the hurt you're going through. Right? Sometimes she can't feel it. She might feel empathetic. She might make tea for you. She might come and massage your head. She might do all sorts of nice things, but she'll never feel what you are feeling. Can your wife feel it? Can your father feel it? Can your brother, your sister? Those are the people that are closest to you. No one cares or can feel the things that you can feel. So why are you letting other people? Now, if you're letting your family judge you, at least that is understandable, because those are the people that are closest to you. Maybe their opinion matters. But when you're speaking to 600 people, what are you worried about? Who are those people? Those people will forget you before they leave the conference. The people at church who I cried in front of, they don't even know who I am. Do you understand what I mean? So we place so much significance in thinking that, oh, everybody cares about what I have to say. But in reality, nobody does. So don't ever be afraid to say what you have to say. I guarantee that by the end of my 4-month training, you will not care about what people have to say about your opinions. You will be confident in your own ability to express your ideas. Because at the end of the day, if you do not express your ideas, who is going to express your ideas for you? Banuka, there are things that you believe in life. There are values that you have. There are ideas that you want to put across. Anupami, Devika, Dayaratna, you all have ideas that you want to put across. Dayaratna's ideas, Dayaratna, does Ibrahim know what you are thinking? Does he have your ideas? No. Ibrahim will never have the ideas that you have. Right? You will never have the ideas that Ranjan has. So if you do not speak your ideas to the world, of course, when it matters, who is going to speak your ideas for you? So worrying about other people's opinions is the biggest stupidity that you can ever do to yourself. Do you understand what I mean? A lack of vocabulary is a real problem. A lack of ideas is a real problem. Worrying about other people's opinions is the most nonsensical problem you will ever have. Guys, when I do a lot of social media marketing, right? I put out a lot of posts on social media, videos on social media. The amount of people that have scolded me is insane, right? We get so many negative comments, and honestly, all I do is teach, right? I mean, we get an overwhelming amount of positive comments, that is true, but at the same time, we get a lot of negative comments as well. Now, if I looked at those negative comments and I thought, oh, people don't like me, maybe I shouldn't post, maybe I shouldn't market, maybe I shouldn't, what's going to happen? The people that I'm able to influence, the people that I'm able to teach, the amount of impact that I can have on society is going to plummet. Just because of some random person thinking that I'm not good enough. What's the point? Do you understand what I mean? Always, when you get on stage, what you have to understand is when you are shy, when you are nervous, when you are afraid of other people's opinions, that is when you are always delivering the worst presentation. When you believe in yourself and you confidently say what you have to say, think again of politicians, right? They say the most dumbest things you can imagine, right? Not everybody, obviously, but there are certain politicians across the world that say the most unbelievable things, stupidest things, but they say it with so much confidence that people believe them and vote for them. That's simply because they don't care about what other people think. They have confidence in themselves. Make sense? Okay, this is another huge mistake people make. I don't know how many of you make this. If you do it, put a yes in the chat box, right? A lot of people, not a lot of you, but a lot of people, they go on stage, they go on the podium and they start reading because they're afraid they might make a mistake if they don't have this piece of paper. Great. I'm not saying anyone say yes. So I'm assuming none of you do this mistake, which is fantastic. The only way to overcome this mistake of reading instead of speaking is to prepare well and know the right speech structure. If you practice speeches in the speech structure that I taught you, you will never have to read again when you are delivering a speech. This, I know a lot of people do. How many of you have this mistake? Using fillers. How many of you do that when you speak? If I'm not getting any yeses for this, I will be the happiest teacher alive. Right. A lot of you are saying yes. Because, guys, trust me, not even in English, even in Sinhala, even in Tamil, whatever language you're speaking, people use a lot of fillers. They say, when they get stuck, they use this sound to fill that gap. That is called a filler. You need to learn how to overcome the use of fillers. And we will practice this in the class. But for those of you that want to learn how, the best technique you can use to overcome your use of fillers is instead of saying you simply pause and you move forward. I'll give you an example. If I were to talk about myself, I can say, my name is Sheshan Dias, and I went to St. Peter's College. I used to do a lot of acting and public speaking. I currently am a public speaking trainer. Now, I could say that same thing. I will still get stuck, but instead of saying I can say, my name is Sheshan Dias. I went to St. Peter's College. When I was in school, I used to do a lot of acting. And currently, I'm doing a lot of public speaking training. I'm involved in theater. And frankly, I believe that I'm improving as a speaker every day. I still got stuck. I still lost my train of thought. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know the right word to say. But instead of saying every time I got stuck, I simply paused. Clear? So that is the technique you can use to overcome your use of fillers. And trust me, the more you practice this, the better you are going to become. The fourth mistake, you can tell me yes if you think you make this. You speak in the same tone. You don't use a lot of vocal variations. You don't use a lot of ups and downs. You speak in the same tone. Guys, as a theater practitioner, I have so many techniques, so many tools, so many exercises to help you with your vocal variations, your changes in your pitch, your power, your pace, your pause. Trust me, in our training program, this is one of the most interesting topics that we touch on. We do poetry recitals, we do acting, we do a lot of fun stuff to get you to do vocal variations. And trust me, when you're reading a poem or when you're reciting a poem, you must think, hey, I'm never going to do this in my life. I'm never going to go in front of my sales team and deliver a poem. That's absurd. But what you're learning is not to deliver poems. You're learning to change your voice as you speak. Because the more changes you can have in your pitch, your power, your pace, and your pausing, the more confident and the more energetic you are going to sound. Finally, bad body language and facial expressions. Most of the time when people speak, they speak like they're very scared. They have no facial expression at all. They don't smile. They don't react to the audience. They look like they saw a ghost. This is very stressful to the audience. Do you understand what I mean? When you don't smile, when you don't engage with them, when you don't have hand gestures. Now, in an online platform, maybe you can't see me much. But when you're speaking in front of a real audience, if you don't have hand gestures, if you're keeping your hands like this, if you're keeping it stuck over here, people are going to know you are nervous. You are not confident. You are shy. So what do? You fix your body language. You fix your facial expressions. You learn how to smile when you speak. So this is what we fix in our program. So guys, we covered 5 major mistakes that people make. Number 1 and the biggest mistake, and a lot of you said yes to this, is that you worry about other people's opinions. I love the fact nobody said yes to this, reading instead of speaking. Using fillers, no vocal variations, and bad body language and facial expressions. All right, guys, do you think that if you fix these 5 mistakes, you will be a confident speaker? How many of you think that if you fix these 5 mistakes, you will be and you can be a confident speaker? I want you to say yes. I want you to say yes if you think that you can be a confident speaker if you fix these 5 mistakes. All right, guys. Now, I could have done this webinar, a one-time webinar, and I could have just wrapped it up from here. But that's not what I want to do. I want to take you step by step. I want to take the responsibility and make sure that you learn exactly how to be a confident speaker. I want to show you exactly how to fix those 5 mistakes. I have done it multiple times in the past for multiple people, and I want to do it for you as well. So is it okay? Do you have, okay, it's 9 o'clock, but is it okay if I spend the next 10 to 15 minutes running you through a very special offer? If yes, you can say yes. Fantastic. I'm seeing a lot of yeses coming through. Great, great, great. Guys, 15 minutes, that's it. After that, we're done. Okay, I'm getting a lot of yeses, so that's fantastic.
Hi,
Okay.
I'm Fazrina Fazi. I joined the Success Academic class because I want to improve my speaking. It didn't only improve my speaking, it made me confident and I have a clarity about what I'm talking about. So I recommend all of you to join this because it changed a lot in me. I'm a confident speaker now. So you all can join her. Thank you.
All right. So guys, we have a 4-month public speaking coaching program. Okay, some of you might be wondering why 4 months? Why not 1 month? You have 10-day spoken English programs, 12-day programs. Why 4 months? I can obviously do a 5-day training session. I can do a 10-day training session. But the reason I drag this for 4 months is very simple. The more you practice, the better you become. It's like going to the gym, right? It's like going to the gym. You can go to the gym for 3 days and you'll start to feel okay. But the moment you don't go for 3 months, 4 months, you're not going to get the muscles you want. You're not going to get that flat stomach, right? You're either going to be like this or you're going to be like this forever. It's the same with speaking. The more you practice, the better you're going to become. So I can guarantee, it's tough for me to guarantee that you will be a confident speaker in 5 days. It's tough because I don't know how much of what I say you will implement. I don't know how long I can get you to practice for once my 5-day training ends. But 4 months, I'm getting you to send me videos. I'm getting you to practice. I can guarantee that if you do the work I say in 4 months, you will not recognize the improvement that you make. You will not recognize how confident you have become and who you have become at the end of this program. Right? So this is our entire 16-week program. So guys, in week 1, which starts next week, next Monday at 7:30, I'm going to give you an introduction to public speaking and how to craft a great speech. Week 2, we are going to cover social speeches. What are social speeches? Vote of thanks, welcome address, farewell speeches, speeches that you would deliver in a social setting. Week 3, we are going to look at how to fix your body language. Because without knowing how to smile, without knowing how to use the right gestures, nothing you say will be taken seriously. Week 4, we are going to look at how to bring energy to what you're saying. Instead of speaking like this, how can you light up? How can you use your voice, your vocal variations to sound like a confident speaker? Week 5, we are going to look at the overcoming of using fillers, right? We're going to learn speech exercises that you can do to stop ums and speak confidently. This is one of my favorite lessons, Introduction to Theatric Performance is Speaking. Guys, keep in mind, a lot of these lessons are interconnected. So I'll be doing a lot of poetry recitals, acting, different speech exercises to help you with each of these different skills, right? So all of these are interconnected. What we learn in 1 week will be applied in the next, right? And I love theatric performances in public speaking because it's something different, something that not a lot of people do. So I want to get you exposed to something that you will not get anywhere else, right? It's really fun and I love it. Week 7 is presentations using visual aids. How can you use visual aids well to support your speech? Week 8 is going to be interview skills, how to face an interview confidently. Week 9 is breathing techniques and exercises. Now, some of you might think, okay, why do I need to learn how to breathe? But this is honestly one of the biggest mistakes people make. They don't breathe well when they speak. And as a result of not breathing well, their speech becomes very bad. They slur their words, they don't pause at the right times, and it's all because they don't know how to breathe well. Week 10 is impromptu speaking techniques. How can you immediately get a topic, think of it for about a minute, and then start talking? Week 11 is building the clarity of your speech. A lot of people, when they speak, they keep their words inside their mouth. They don't pronounce their words properly. They don't articulate their words properly. So how can you do that? We learn that in week 11. Week 12 is about audience engagement. How can you attract the attention of an audience? Week 13 is critical listening and feedback. Week 14 is professional etiquette and personal branding. Week 15 is a mock interview practice. And week 16, which is the final week, is going to be a small assessment that we have to see how far you have come as a speaker. All right. So what do you get? You get 16 live coaching sessions with me across 16 weeks. Guys, aside from the live coaching, I will also be personally going through any homework you send. What is the homework? It's always going to be speaking practice. So I'm going to get you to record yourself and send across different speech activities to me. And I will be personally going through each one and giving you feedback. Trust me, if you actually stick to my program and if you do the work I tell you, there is no way that you're not going to be a confident speaker. So usually programs like this might cost you 100,000, 200,000, up to 400,000. I've seen different public speaking programs in the market. And for the value we are giving, honestly, it's worth that amount, right? We have a diploma that you can take part in if you are interested. But aside from that, we have 16 live coaching sessions with personal mentoring from me. You get recorded practice reviews for every practice video that you send across. Anytime you have a speech to deliver at your office, maybe at your university, you can always personally reach out to me and get my feedback, get my input. So all of this collectively would be more than 150,000, but we usually offer our program at 60,000 rupees, give or less 59,500. But today I told you, I promised you that I would be giving everyone present on this webinar a very special discount. So for everyone that makes the purchase within the next 4 days, we will be giving this program at 33,900. Guys, we have only 20 spots available because we don't take more than 20 students per batch. And I'll tell you why in just a bit, right? But we only have 20 spots available. The faster you pay and reserve your spot, the faster I can guarantee you a spot in the class. All right. For those of you that struggle to make the 33,900 rupee payment upfront, you can break it down into 2 payments of 19,500. Right. So it's either 33,900 rupees one-time payment or 19,500 into 2. Okay, so you pay 19,500 today and you make it again 1 month from now. So those of you that are interested in the program, we are starting it next week. We have classes every Monday from 7:30 p.m. onwards. I want you to take a quick snapshot and send this on the group with your name if you want to join my 4-month training program. Guys, we also have a number of different bonuses that we offer. Before I get to the bonuses, if you are interested in the program, make sure to take a screenshot, send this on the WhatsApp group with your name. My coordinator, Ashain, will be sending you our bank details. You can make the transfer as soon as possible to reserve your spot. Guys, usually with past webinars we have done, I think I see a few people from our past webinars as well. You know how fast the spots fill out. Usually within 48 hours, the 20 slots get booked out. If it gets booked out, then you have to wait either another 1 month. Now, for example, December, we didn't start a new batch. So you have to wait maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months to join a new batch. But like I told you, go back and read your New Year's resolution, right? You signed up to this free webinar for a reason. So don't let that reason go to waste. Take a screenshot, send this on the WhatsApp group, and my coordinator will contact you. He will send you the bank details. You can make the payment and sign up today. All right, I hope you took a screenshot. I will move on to the bonuses that we offer. We have some very exclusive bonuses for the people who will be joining our 4-month program. Main thing is we will only be taking 20 students per batch. Reason is it's tough for me to give individual feedback and individual attention to more than 20 people. Right, it's very tough. I have made certain exceptions in the past up to about 23, 24 people. That is because spots have run out really fast and then people call and say, sir, I really want to join. As I've made a few exceptions in the past, but definitely not more than 23 students because it's very tough. Because once you start sending me videos, I have to now go through every video and I do this for about 6 different batches. Right, so it's not easy. It's very tough. So I cannot take more than 20 students per batch, and you can be guaranteed that if you sign up, you will get a lot of individual personalized attention through the program. Makes sense? Another huge benefit that our students love is the opportunity to be featured on our podcast. This is a really fun experience for the student and for myself because I get to meet so many new people. Right? I get to have a conversation with you. I get to understand who you are, where you come from, and you get to put your teachings into practice because you have been learning how to communicate well, how to speak confidently. And a podcast usually goes on for about 45 minutes to an hour. So you build up the confidence to speak for 1 hour, 45 minutes straight without any fear at all. This gets posted on our public platform. It's a fantastic experience. It's a fantastic opportunity. All right. You also get to connect with different industry professionals. So, as a batch goes on, and this is one of the beautiful things about doing a batch for 4 months, the people start to get connected. Now, even with a couple of our batches, we've been on trips, we've gone on excursions, outings. So, you get to know people, you build up connections. There was this new undergraduate that was looking for a job, and then I also had one of the senior managers or the AGM, assistant general manager of Mobitel. So because of the connections they built here, he was able to offer her a job at Mobitel. Right? Similarly, we do a lot of other mentoring. I get a lot of comparing events. I get a lot of voiceovers. So people that are interested in those fields, I pass on a lot of opportunities to them. You get to network with a lot of high-end professionals and build up good relationships that will help you grow your career. Furthermore, if you want discounts or special offers for qualifications that we offer, we will also be giving those for our existing students. And for those of you that want to do the diploma in public speaking, usually the exam fee for that is 50,000, the exam fee. But for our students, we have a very special discount at just 25,000 rupees, right? So that is for those of you that want to pursue the diploma. All right.
Hi, this is Dylan Fernando, a native Sri Lankan and currently works as a chief sales officer for one of the blue chip companies right now in US. So before I found this class, speaking confidence is like a dream for me. I cannot speak confidence, I stammer a lot. But when I joined Success Academy and as well as when I worked with Seshan, I felt this confidence, energetic, and as well as he thoroughly taught me how to speak confidently and how to be elegant and as well as confidence in front of people. So with regards to this, what I can say is don't wait until confidence comes to you. You create your confidence and as well as build your future. Stay safe, and I'm one of the living examples right now with regards to the public speaking class of Sheshan Dias in Success Academy. Stay safe. See you soon. Bye.
All right, guys. So we are done with the webinar today. If you are interested in signing up to our classes, if you're interested in signing up to our 4-month program, make sure to take a screenshot of this page. Some of you missed the earlier page. You have asked again, can you please share the details on WhatsApp? Can you show the screenshot page again? Guys, don't worry if you missed the earlier one. Just take a screenshot of this and send it on the WhatsApp group. The payment details have already been sent on the WhatsApp group. If you are, some of you are asking for the payment details. So we have sent the payment details on the WhatsApp group. You can just check the bank details, make the payment, and secure your spot. All right, fantastic. So guys, if you have any questions before we wrap up, if you have anything to clarify, now is the time. You can unmute yourself. You can ask a question or you can drop the question onto the chat box. All right, any questions? Okay, Subha says, can you share? Dayaratna says, can you please share the details again on WhatsApp? Yes, my coordinator has shared the bank details on WhatsApp. You can check the bank details there and make the payment. Someone says, sir, are you a royalist? No, I'm not a royalist. I'm a Peterite. All right. Any other questions? Anything with regards to what we discussed today?
Sir, I'm Nasir here. When
Yes,
you're
Nazir.
having physical classes, sir?
Physical classes, so usually we have on Sundays at CIPM from 4:30 to 6:30. So this is actually for our online session, but if you want physical classes, just still take a screenshot of this and drop it on the WhatsApp group. My coordinator will get in touch with you.
Yeah, the day before yesterday, I have discussed about this class with you, sir. Then, okay, I'll take a screenshot. Thank you very much.
Okay, super. All right, Nazir.
Okay.
So another problem is the Mondays I cannot participate. What can I do for that, sir?
That might be an issue for now because the thing is, we are currently running classes on all 5 weekdays. So Monday is my only available day. If Monday is a problem, you can join our physical class on Sundays, 4:30 to 6:30.
As a regular, my off days is falling on Friday and Saturday. The thing is, other days I cannot participate. That's the problem, sir.
Okay, so my Friday batch, it will take some time to end. But if we are starting a batch on Friday, I will keep you posted. All right?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
I expecting a feedback. I expecting a feedback, sir.
Sure, no problem. I'll let you know.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And hi, sir,
Yes.
I just want to check it to this. All the sessions will be only online, right? Because I will not able to participate in any physical classes because currently I'm not in Sri Lanka, so it will
Yeah,
be.
no. So this class that we are starting on Mondays is going to be fully online. No physical classes. Fully online every Monday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. All right?
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys. Any other questions? Okay, I see some questions coming in on the chat box. So is that book? Yes, the book, I'm going to share it on the group. What's the difference between the diploma and the 16-week program? So guys, basically I'm following the same syllabus as the diploma in the 16-week program. So once you complete my program, if you want to sit for the diploma, that is an option that you have. So you can sit for the diploma. There is no difference, right? I'm still following the same syllabus. Okay, so you have to prepare a couple of speeches. I can run you through the diploma exam later on, but there is no difference. If you want to go through the program, if you want to sit for the diploma after that, you just have to pay the exam fee and sit for it. Zainab, makes sense? All right. Gayan has a question, so I have a small clarification. Public speaking usually means speaking in front of a live audience. Since this course is conducted online, how will it help us build the confidence? All right, fantastic. See, one of the biggest problems people have is in general, they find it tough to speak in front of people, regardless of whether it's online or physical. Now, that's the beautiful thing about my entire program, which is my 4-month online program helps you build up all the 5 mistakes that I pointed out in this webinar. It helps you be confident. It helps you build up your vocal variations. It helps you build up your ability to smile, have facial expressions, have hand gestures and good body language in front of an audience. Overall, it builds up your confidence when speaking in front of a crowd. So you build up the skill set by actually practicing speaking. And that's the most important thing that I think I missed out on. In every class, students get an opportunity to speak. My teaching component, today's webinar, I'm speaking to about 200 people. So obviously I can't get everyone to speak. But the reason I keep my classes small is that I can get almost everyone to speak in the class itself to build up your speaking ability. And for those of you that want to continue after 4 months and that want to keep practicing or even wants to practice in front of a live audience, you can always come 1 or 2 classes for free in front of our physical audience in our physical classes, right? So that is also an option that is available. That's optional, but it's available. But for all of you that are joining my online program, guys, everyone you saw that gave a testimonial was a part of our online program because we started physical very recently, right? Every testimonial you saw was a part of our online program, and they built up genuine confidence to speak in front of a crowd through our online program. All right. Okay. Sir, is it possible? Can I speak to you personally? Yes, you can. So maybe again, still just take a screenshot, drop it on the WhatsApp group. My coordinator will contact you first, then tell him that you want to speak with me. We can get on a call. I can clarify any doubts that you have. No problem. Someone says, do you have any other time other than Monday at this moment? No, because I'm packed to the brim, but eventually maybe, right? Okay. Any other questions? Sir, do you have classes on Poya Day as well? Poya days, no. So physical classes, no on Poya days, but online classes, yes. Online classes, we will still continue regardless of whether it's Poya or not, because for people like Bhanuka who are not from Sri Lanka, Poya doesn't really matter, does it, Bhanuka? Right? Okay. Yes. Have I completed the program and can I get a
Excuse me,
certificate?
sir.
Yes.
Is the course that is shown on the screen right now physical?
No, it's online. So every Monday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. online through Zoom.
So what is the physical one?
We have a separate class for physical classes that's on Sundays at 4:30 p.m. So still take a screenshot, send it on the WhatsApp group. My coordinator will contact you and give the details. Okay?
Thank
All right,
Excuse
super.
me, sir.
Yes.
If we write the exam only, can we get the certificate? If not, if I finish the course, can we get the certificate for that?
Okay, listen very carefully to this. You get a certificate of participation issued from my academy when you finish the 4-month course, right? That is only issued from the Success Academy. If you want the foreign ministry approved diploma certificate, then obviously you have to sit for the diploma exam. Without sitting for the exam, you cannot get that certificate. But once you complete my 4-month course, we issue a certificate. Clear? Makes sense? Who was it that asked the question? All right, I'm
Yes,
going to
sir.
take that as clear. Okay, great. Someone says,
So what about the book you said about?
I will be sending that on the group. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Fantastic. So with that, we are done for the day. Guys, one final round of screenshots. If you haven't taken it yet, make sure to take the screenshot and send it on the WhatsApp group. Someone says 33,900 will also be playable when the physical. So physical classes, the payment structure is a bit different. Like I said, take a screenshot, send this on the WhatsApp group, and my coordinator will get in touch with you to explain the details for that. The 33,900 is for the online coaching program. Okay. Manil has asked, what is your YouTube channel? It's the Success Academy. You can search as the Success Academy on YouTube. I'll send you a couple of videos we have done. You can subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, fantastic. Thank you so much for attending the webinar today. I genuinely hope you got a lot of value. Yes, Devika, do you have a question? You were okay. All right, great. So thank you so much for participating in the webinar today. I genuinely hope that you will be signing up to our classes. I hope to see you all. And remember what I said. You have made a resolution this year to improve your speaking skills. Don't let yourself down. Don't let this continue to 2027. And you still be thinking in 2027, I want to be a good speaker. Achieve that goal in 2026 and become the best speaker that you can be. With that being said, I wish everyone
Sir.
here all the very best. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
See you all.
Good night,
Hopefully
sir.
next week.
Bye.
See you
Thank you, sir.
guys.
Thank
Good
you very
night.
much. Good night. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, sir. Good night. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Night.
Bye.
See you guys.